Good evening, everyone. As you're starting to file in, start off by welcoming you to the Colleges That Change Lives virtual days, and thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see you or hear you, so no worries about that. This is just one of many sessions that are being offered both this evening and throughout the next few days. So certainly feel free to check the original site where you registered and sign up for any additional ones. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you did submit that initial registration. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Thank you. So my name is John Tasensky. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions here at Cornell College. And Kate?
My name is Kate. I'm an admissions representative here at Cornell College, so we work in the same office together.
Yep, so we'll be actually taking you through a little bit of a presentation that should last about 20-25 minutes. As Owen said, this is, if you have questions come up at any point in this time, just go down to the bottom of your screen and hit the little Q&A. You can put those in there. And then after that, we will actually have some current students that will come and talk a little bit about their student experience at Cornell College. So definitely stay tuned for that. But we'll get started with a little bit of a presentation. So,
John, I'll mute myself.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead and share that and we'll get started. Are we good? Kate, can you see this?
Looks great.
Awesome, we'll get right into it then.
Cornell College offers so many unique opportunities, extraordinary opportunities.
I've never been able to ask of students on the semester plan what I can ask of students on the block plan.
The block plan, or what we call one course at a time, is a unique learning environment where students take one class for 3.5 weeks.
The block plan gives me 18 days to spend all day long with students focusing on one particular subject.
You have these small groups that spend so much time together and you learn from each other. That discussion-based learning was so fundamental to my education.
It's focused and it's easier to not get distracted, but it's also easier to get involved in things because of the way our days are structured here.
Classes are over by 3, we practice at 3:30. It's the perfect setup of not having to sacrifice academics or my sports life, so it's pretty nice.
We have new facilities in the sciences, so the Russell Science Center is a particularly exciting aspect. We involve students in research in small groups, and so I can get to know them very well and provide the support and mentorship that they need.
Having the flexibility to be with a student for 4 hours a day allows us to engage in hands-on activity to learn the material that we're teaching.
If it's lecture for 4 hours a day, anybody's going to start banging their head against the wall. But we don't do that. We've got studio work. We have lab time. We have field trips.
When you take students to the sites of the content that's being studied, then the material comes alive.
Cornell gave me the opportunity to travel abroad, and that really broadened my horizons, and now I tell every student, you should study abroad. It's such a great enhancement to what you're learning at Cornell.
When I go to Rome with a class, we are investigating ancient Rome, and we can stand in the forum and talk about it. That is an extraordinary experience in and of itself. That is not part of the classroom. And we can do this because there are no other courses in conflict.
I've actually been asked by several parents why other institutions don't use the block system if it's such a wonderful way to learn. The block system is very resource intensive.
When it comes to your professors, they do a phenomenal job of really making sure that they are available for you. They want to see you succeed.
When I'm in a class with students every day, 5 days a week for a month, 4 hours a day, we very, very quickly develop a relationship. Students are really in it together. They're supporting each other, they're helping each other out, they're all proud of each other's accomplishments.
I'm in a class with 16 other people, 24 at the most. So you get this community that values learning and that does everything possible to support a higher level of learning.
When our students go on to graduate school, they report back that it's easy. It's because they're used to pacing themselves and achieving things in a much shorter period of time.
We're just having students going out to great success, and what they're telling us is that the block plan did an excellent job of preparing them for upper level study, even on a semester plan, and also to go out and work in the professional world.
There is no doubt that the level of commitment, the level of engagement, the level of accountability is much higher here than any of the institutions on the semester plan. The type of commitment to themselves, to their subject matter, to their peers that's possible here, you're not going to find it anywhere else.
If you want to make a difference in the world, you come to Cornell.
So getting right into everything, kind of Cornell, the uniqueness of the one course at a time schedule, or, oops. It looked like my screen sharing. Uh-oh. Don't tell me oh my goodness. Hold on one second, folks. It looks like it just exited me out of PowerPoint.
Need me to send it to you quick?
No, I think I have a backup on my actual computer here. I'm so sorry about that, folks. Here, one second. And then we're gonna go back to this and share screen. Little bit of a technical difficulty. Oh, where is it? Screen 2 right here, optimize. Perfect, can you see that now?
Yep, looks good.
Good, well, we'll skip the video so you don't have to watch that again. And then we'll go right into the block plan. So as I was talking about before everything decided to close out on me, the block plan is really kind of what makes Cornell unique. The idea that instead of taking classes collectively over 4 or 5 months and having a big semester finals week, getting a little bit of a winter break and then doing again second semester, students at Cornell take their classes individually. So instead of juggling 4 or more courses each semester, they take one class for 18 days, 3 full Monday through Fridays and a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They take a semester final exam for that one class on the very last Wednesday. Then after that, they have 4 days off. And then on that following Monday, come back and start a new class. So you can see actually on here, this is last year's academic calendar. This year's was interrupted a little bit by a natural disaster that we had back in August on campus. But you can see by the color codes the different classes. So each color, each block is one specific class. So you'll actually take 8 courses in a year and you earn pretty much the same credit hours that you would at a semester school. There are a lot of big advantages to this. By the first day of class, your professor knows your name as they're only teaching one class and you're only taking one class. And within the very first couple of days of class, they actually really know you. With no other courses, to bother or to prioritize or to sacrifice your time to, you'll spend that entire month dedicated to that topic at hand. From a daily schedule then, students typically will be in class from 9 to 11 in the morning and then 1 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But that time of 3 o'clock is really sacred in the sense that you're never going to have a class that goes beyond that or runs late into the evenings or afternoons or things like that. It's a really nice way for our student athletes to have that student athletic experience, our student musicians to be able to get out of class and go practice their instruments and ensembles and rehearse. Different clubs and organizations to hold their meetings at those times too. So again, every day, 9 to 11 and 1 to 3 o'clock. And then this is just a little bit of a kind of how it's set up because a lot of semester schools are kind of similar to high school for many of you, I'm sure, where you'll take your classes kind of at the same time, different periods. And Cornell, again, will stack those semesters as we take it, our blocks back to back to back to back. So you can see courses 1 through 4, blocks 1 through 4 in the first semester, and then blocks 5 through 8 in our second semester. But from the timeline of the standpoint of Cornell, very similar to a semester school where you'll be starting in late August, getting your winter break, starting at second semester in January, mid-January, and then usually ending school that first or second week of May.
My coaches have had huge impacts on the way I approach tennis and life. All of my theater professors and guest lecturers have helped me believe in my artistic ability and taught me the value of long hours of hard work. My biology and chemistry professors have pushed me to learn amounts of information I didn't know my mind could handle. My language and humanities professors have helped me learn to see the beauty in the world. My data and statistics professors have helped me find the joy in contextual detective work with numbers. And my bosses have taught me to be a kind listener.
So this slide is a lot of words, but it just talks about how our faculty and students have connections that really go beyond the classroom. The professors are teachers, but they're also scholars, they're also researchers, they're also academic advisors and mentors. And the connections that you'll make with our faculty are life-changing. By the end of 18 days, you'll have made kind of the rich and fulfilling connections that will lead to, the next steps, great recommendations to graduate schools, finding jobs, opportunities like that. One of the biggest strengths, again, of one course at a time, not is that you're taking one course at a time, but again, that you have one professor teaching one course. For that entire month, you are completely their focus and priority. Talking a little bit about learning with boundaries, all of these pictures are from different classes that Cornell has offered. When you take one course at a time, a big advantage is that courses will happen wherever they make the most sense. So science classes will spend their time in the lab. Theater courses will devote their times, to performance and being on stage. And if it even makes sense for a course to go off campus, they will, whether that's maybe a field trip during the week or for that entire 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks. Some of our most popular classes, you can study like Spanish in Argentina or China's economy in Shanghai, coral reefs down in the tropical waters of the Bahamas and Belize. Those are always popular ones. We have a number of domestic trips that include trips out to San Diego, to Chicago, the Boundary Waters. So again, with this, you just have that kind of focus and ability to take these classes without sacrificing other schoolwork or other things happening while you're here. Unfortunately, this past spring with the rise of COVID, we weren't able to offer a lot of our spring trips, but we're looking forward, and I know our off-campus office is looking forward to, again, the opportunity to be able to travel in the future. So as a new student, kind of that first year experience can sometimes be overwhelming. You're getting to a new place, a new schedule, new friends, new people. You're not going to be alone when you step foot here on campus. There's a team of people here to help you navigate your whole experience, from student mentors to academic advisors and everything. Kind of this is a nice Venn diagram just to talk about some of the things. I'll circle this up here with my mouse if you can follow, but the first year seminar professor is actually your very first class that the student will take. As a first year student, you actually come to Cornell with just that first class chosen, and that time is really used as a class to really get you up to speed with everything, one course at a time. So you'll have homework and things like that due. But it also provides a really nice entryway into the resources that are available to you, such as the Writing Center, the Quantitative Reasoning Studio, the Berry Career Institute, and a number of different resources, again, that you'll utilize throughout your time at Cornell. So the first year seminar professor really drives that. Your first year seminar success instructor, I always like to say is someone that always takes care of you kind of outside of class. So campus resources, the dining center, residence life. Are you feeling at home in your residence hall? Are you finding that community outside of class? This is going to be somebody, again, as a resource for you to be able to work with and lean on. Your academic advisor down here in the bottom right, as I said, you come to Cornell with only one class chosen. This is going to be a professor that you're going to meet during your first 3.5 weeks, first block on campus, who will sit down and actually help pick out the first semester classes for you, blocks 2 through 4. And over that time, over those blocks as you take them, you'll continue to meet with your academic advisor, providing them feedback that, yes, you enjoyed this class, or maybe this is a better track for me. And they'll then help you pick blocks 5 through 8. So you really have this nice progressive ease into your classes coming from somebody that has had that experience in advising students. Not something, in the summer where you're going to pick your whole set of classes without even knowing what to expect. And then upper class student mentors are down here in the left. These are really the experts, as I call it, on the block plan. These are other students experiencing the same things, going through all the same stuff that you are. So these are the people you can most heavily rely on. They're going to be people who become your friends, your family, your community here on campus, and kind of give you the ins and outs. Which professors are, you might like to work with. What's the good food in the Hilltop Cafe? Where's the place to go on a Friday night? Stuff like that. And then this map is actually a map of our campus. So with it, you can see we're kind of a, what's the word? We're in a small town in Mount Vernon, Iowa, kind of between Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, but kind of set off on a hilltop. You can see all of the trees there. But with it, again, we have a very small campus. So 95% of our student body actually lives on campus. As highlighted, you can see some of the residence halls, including Tri-Hall, that's Tar, Pfeiffer, and Dow's. These buildings over here, followed over by Russell and Murner and Olin and Pauli Roram over here, Bowman Carter right behind King Chapel here. So again, very close, very close knit. Again, you're not going to be traveling or having to get on a bus or cross a whole big city to get to class. This building right here, kind of tucked away, not really a great angle of this picture, is the Thomas Commons. So this is kind of the hub, the student union, as you would call. So this is where the Hilltop Cafe is, Zamora's Market, the orange carpet where everything big and fun happening Cornell-wise is located. Really, really cool place just to go and hang out. A ton of resources there, like the Berry Career Institute, Performing Arts and Actions Council, just again, a number of things for students to do and hang out. The next click then will show you some of the other resources that are on campus for students. So the Counseling Center, you can see over here, right behind Alley Chapel, and then Campus Safety are in the same building. They offer short-term counseling, mental health, wellness workshops, referrals to the chaplain's office too, which is right here. Again, this is really kind of anything from the health, emotional, spiritual need that you'll need to be taken care of. Those resources are right there. Then in the orange are highlighted some of, student activities, student life. So Kimmel and Armstrong, this big kind of black rectangular box, over there houses all of our theater and fine arts performances. A lot of stuff, again, happening here in the Commons. McWethy Hall is our art building and small multi-sports center, which is going to be renovated shortly. Is right across the street along with Intercultural Life, so you can't really see it from this angle. But again, just a very short walk down the hill and you have those resources right at your hand. Talking then a little bit about the class side of things. So academic support, this building right here, the Cole Library, a great place for students to go to help with academic needs, whether that be writing for the writing studio, math, statistics, quantitative reasoning, research, everything here. And then some of the class buildings on campus, West Science Hall over here, College Hall right here, and then Law Hall, and then Kimmel Theater as well up there. And then finally, these green little colors, talking a little bit more about the career engagement, student employment you can find here in Old SEM, alumni networking down in the Scott building, and then the Berry Career Institute's actually on the second floor. So everything, again, from internships, job opportunities, the next steps after college. Again, all these resources are right at your hand, a very short, 5-10 minute walk across campus. And then looking at this map, we're located in Mount Vernon, Iowa. We're not to be confused with Cornell University, though that sometimes comes up. But with where we're located, we're about 20 minutes from both Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. So while we are a smaller, safe community here in small town Mount Vernon, we do have access to larger cities, both in Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. So for students that are looking for kind of those big city amenities, go out, see a show or things like that, you have that option as well. And then where we're located, we're actually kind of among 4 to 6 hours, many of the major metropolitan Midwest hubs. So Milwaukee, Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Omaha, Kansas City, Twin Cities, great places for our classes to be able to travel, great places for our students to be able to travel to on a block break. Say you're to finish up class on a Wednesday afternoon, move on, have those 4.5 days of complete freedom to yourself, then be able to go to these places and then spend a few days there and come back on that Sunday before class resumes on Monday. So, and a lot of these places highlighted too are where our students come from. Our student body's a little over 1,000 students, but 80% of that, a little over 800 of those students come from outside the state of Iowa. This year we're represented by 47 states and I believe 14 or 15 countries, last time I checked.
I think students are really excited about classes in the new building. I think that the building is set up in such a way that there's a seamless transition between classroom and the laboratory, and I think that's very exciting. In the old building, the transition would be from floor to floor. Here we go from one room right next to a contiguous room, and we're in the lab. The other thing that's pretty exciting about this building, I think, is the open spaces. There's lots of open spaces for faculty and students to interact.
Yep, so there you heard Professor Tepper talking about the Russell Science Center, which was a $30 million project completed at the beginning of 2018 and actually opened to students at the end of 2018. But Cornell's really committed to improving its campus and always making those renovations. The first year residence halls were all renovated conveniently, my second time on campus when I was a student here. But Russell Science Center has since been added, a creation of a brand new building. A renovation of West Science was completed last year for students to come in this fall. Law Hall, one of our other academic buildings, is getting retrofitted with some new toys and additions for students. And as I mentioned earlier, the multi-sports center is getting an update, a new kind of facelift too for students coming up here in the future. So really, really exciting to be on campus to see, I mean, the old history, but also to see kind of the new and state-of-the-art things that our students are able to be a part of. Talking a little bit about success with one course at a time, I feel like families often ask me, well, if I'm taking one course at a time, is it relevant? Does it translate to the real world? And the simple answer is yes. The class of 2017 was polled 6 months after graduation, and 97% of those pursuing jobs were employed. So not only are you going to graduate on time, but you'll be prepared for success after you leave Cornell. About 95% of our graduates complete their degree in 4 years. And with that, we actually do have a new 4-year guarantee that says if you start as a first-year student, pending that you check off a couple boxes, your first and second year, you'll be graduating in time for 4 years. So it's really exciting to share that and, again, kind of see that process as it works on. Some success stories from our alumni. We've had 2 Pulitzer Prize winners. Cornell boasts the world's foremost expert on John Steinbeck. We've been to space on 4 separate shuttle missions. And one of our most notable alumni, Harper Reed, who was the chief technology officer for President Obama's re-election campaign, was named a senior director software development for PayPal. And we've actually had some students do some internships there. So it's cool, again, kind of to see those Cornell connections that work into the real world. Talking very, very briefly on kind of our application process, as most of that information is online, but we are a school that has 2 applications. Both of them are free, both online. We're members of the Common Application. So if you're applying on there, you can just select Cornell College as one of your schools, fill out one of our little short answer questions, and you're good to apply there. Otherwise, we do have a application right here on our website, and it's super streamlined and easy for students to complete. With that, we know that the price of college can seem shocking, and we do everything that we can to make Cornell affordable and accessible. Academic scholarships are the recognition of participation over the years and merits in school. So you'll actually notify of your merit scholarship at the same time as admission. So when you receive your congratulations letter, you'll also be receiving that. College is a shared investment for sure, and we want to invest in our students that are investing in their education. We offer need-based financial aid as well, which is actually calculated after admission once the FAFSA is completed. And if you get accepted to Cornell, we want you to be able to afford to come here. So we work with every student to create personalized financial aid packages. You'll have a financial aid representative that's assigned to you, and again, be able to walk you through the questions of that process as well. And 99.8% of students received financial assistance this last year. So again, just kind of our example and promise that we want you to be able to come here. So if you do have questions about that, again, while this is a webinar, I can't speak specifically on it, but we do have a net price calculator on our website, so that would be a great tool to check out, and we'll get a little bit more information on that later. But
if I could describe
Cornell in one word.
If I could describe Cornell in one word.
One? Just one?
One word.
One word.
One word. It would be challenging.
Remarkable. Unique.
Opportunity.
Involvement.
Family.
Home.
Community.
Togetherness.
Intense.
Open. Engaging.
Focus.
Experiences.
Motivating. Caring.
Amazing.
Outstanding. Home.
Unique.
Community.
Intense.
Magical.
Life-changing.
Empowering.
Awesome. It's really awesome.
so a fun little video of some students talking about Cornell. But with that, that's actually where we'll wrap up the slide show presentation aspect of this. There are, again, some useful links here on your screen. Again, the net price calculator, cornellcollege.edu/NPC, to kind of get sense of scholarship with that. We are a test optional school, and we have been a test optional school since 2016. So if you were a junior last year or a junior this year or senior this year that was affected by not being able to take like an ACT or an SAT, it's not necessary to apply to Cornell with one. A lot of those instructions and what we're looking for in addition to a test optional application you can find on our website. If you do have interest in applying, again, there's the link, cornellcollege.edu/apply. And then if you just want to hear the latest info about campus, cornellcollege.edu/news. So any kind of updates regarding student life, things happening on campus, cool alumni stories you can find there. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. I'm not sure yet if there's the TikTok account yet, but again, just some kind of cool things to check out there. So with that, I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen. It looks like we'll get back into this, and I'm just curious. Again, if you have any questions or anything like that from the presentation, feel free to type them on into the chat box, the Q&A at the very bottom of your screen. And then Kate, I'm not sure, do we have Sophia or?
We are just waiting for Sophia and Mia to get logged in here. So a couple more minutes, but yeah, we can definitely take those questions while we wait and kind of go from there.
Okay, awesome. It looks like just kind of talking a little bit about some questions that came up. There was one that asked, are students required to live on campus? As first year students, they are. Typically through your third and fourth year, junior and senior year, you have the option to live off campus. But usually anywhere from I think any one time, maybe 93, 94, 95% of students will live on campus. Cornell has a ton of different housing options, including your kind of stereotypical dorms where it would be you and a roommate on a shared floor with the shared floor bathroom among the floor, up into options such as apartment style, suite style, things like that. So merit scholarships, I see another question about merit scholarships. So our merit scholarships actually come up in different tiers. They start off at $20,000 a year and they work their way up in different tiers, depending again, just on the merits of your application. If you have specific questions about that, I would definitely advise that you check out the net price calculator on our website to be able to go kind of play around with that. You can enter GPA, you can enter test score, and then through an algorithm, it kind of spits out the level of scholarship that you should expect to get. So I know in my college search process, my mom was a big fan of the net price. Oh, Johnny, if you get another point here or there, in hindsight's 2020, she was right, of course, but good. I see a lot of questions coming in, so this is awesome. It looks like there's a question about Greek life. So yes, we do offer Greek life on campus. The unique thing about Cornell's Greek life is that it's not nationally affiliated. So while some other bigger schools and even smaller schools might have fraternities and sororities and groups that have connections with other schools, all of Cornell's groups are just local. So that means they're chartered by our school. The bylaws regarding them are just unique pertaining to Cornell. All of the groups do have a service-based component, so they do throw a number of different events and service events throughout the year and socials that students can attend. And with the uniqueness of one course at a time, students don't actually pledge or rush or decide, jump into a group while their first couple of weeks on campus. That actually happens second semester. So it gives students a really great chance to get into Greek life, to visit some of the groups, get connected with them, and kind of figure out, what might be best for me. And then decide actually second semester, so that way they're not jumping into a group that maybe they're not comfortable with right away. So perfect. Just going through a couple more.
Mia, I'm not sure why you're named me, but I'll rename you.
Perfect. Looks like we got Mia here. Awesome. Talking a little bit about, just rolling through the questions right now.
As an alum, John, here's a question for you. How did you feel taking math classes, having a break in between math courses? Did you find that beneficial or more of a struggle taking a break?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think block plan actually works really beneficially for taking classes that are kind of sequenced in a sense, because the schedule allows students to have that kind of back-to-back classing. So oftentimes I know I can't speak specifically for math, but a lot of the science classes that I took were structured where I would take, say, Bio 141, the next block, then jump into Bio 142 before getting into Bio 211 and the next. Specifically with math class, I know Cornell does offer a double sequence calculus class. So it's kind of 2 blocks over the course of one class. So with that, it is kind of unique in that sense. But I think it's very beneficial to students to also talk a little bit about that when you're in one class at a time with one professor in one area of study, that you're not balancing different classes, you're not balancing different things. So if you do get into a situation where you take a math class, then maybe take like an English class or a humanities class, and then come back to a math class, there's a nice little kind of review process, a very short review time that you have with a smaller group. So it's not going to be you jumping into a class of 500 students in a second, level math term and like, oh, I forgot the, Pythagorean theorem or what have you. So sorry for the basic math reference there, but no, oftentimes it's very, very easy for students kind of to jump through that and have that transition from classes. And again, that's something that your academic advisor, which I talked a little about, will help you definitely get in shape when you're here on campus. So.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Now that we have our current students on here, apparently there's 2 of me, but you can see they're in the residence halls on campus right now, but I will quickly have them introduce themselves. If you have any questions about current student experience, maybe their experience applying to Cornell, picking Cornell, clubs they're involved in, their major, anything like that, drop that in the Q&A and we'll ask them directly. So Sophia, you want to start with name, major, where you're from, what year you are, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I'm Sophia. Can you guys hear me okay?
You're good.
Perfect. Okay. I'm Sophia. I am a current senior here at Cornell, double majoring in psychology and kinesiology, and I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm not Kate. I don't know why it says that. I'm Mia McCoy. I'm a junior here at Cornell. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I'm majoring in sociology and anthropology.
Awesome. And when looking at schools, how did you 2 decide on Cornell?
I was recruited by the basketball coach, so that's how I found out about Cornell. And then once I kind of got to campus for my visit, I loved the whole atmosphere. Everyone was so friendly and nice. And I was really intrigued by the block plan and thought that was really interesting. So after doing some more research on that, I thought it would be a really great program for me. And it's turned out to be really well. And I was really impressed by the community and how close everyone was and how nice people were on campus. So that's what did it for me.
I heard about Cornell through my mom. She went to Colorado College, which also has the block plan. And she had heard about Cornell through Colorado College. And so she really highly recommended the block plan and really loved it. And so she told me to look into it, and so I did, and we came and visited, and it was kind of the same thing Sophia said. Just I absolutely, once I got onto campus, I loved it here. The campus, everyone I met was just so kind and wonderful, and it really made it feel like it would be an amazing place to go to school, and really just made it feel like home from the first time I stepped on the campus.
Awesome. Both great reasonings for deciding on Cornell. So what kind of classes outside of your major have you guys been required to take, kind of first year seminar, that kind of items?
Yeah, I took the first year seminar. Everyone does basically if you come in as a first year student. So that was one of the required classes. Some of them for general requirements, you have a couple humanities classes you have to take. So I think I did philosophy and history class, and some of the other ones, I'm actually taking my fine arts credit 4th block this year. I'm a little late to the game, but I'm getting it done. Some of the other required classes are social sciences, natural sciences, math, all of those I've done here. And what's really nice is that they're not necessarily all the same course that's required. You have options within that, so you can really pick a class that you are interested in. So I was able to, within humanities, pick a course that I wanted to take instead of one that's required that everyone has to take.
Yeah, you also have to take language, which I'm currently in right now. I'm in Spanish, which has been an experience on the block plan, but I absolutely love every second of it.
Well, I'm not sure if either of you have had this experience, but from what you guys do know, what can you talk about Cornell Fellows through the Berry Career Institute?
I have not done a fellowship myself. I know some people that have done one, but from their experiences, they were able to find something that tailors to their major and what they want to go into. And they're able to do an internship. I know they were even able to do some this summer, even with COVID. But from what I've heard from my friends, they've all loved the experience, and they love just having those opportunities that they can really dive into what they're interested in and do a whole internship with.
Yeah, I haven't done one either, but I was talking to someone today who did it, and he did it with the government in Chicago, and he absolutely loved it, and he was actually using it for his stats class right now. So like it's helped him in all sorts of classes, not just, you know, the kind of things he wants to go into. So.
And I can talk about that a little too. From my time at Cornell, the Cornell Fellowships program is actually a Cornell sponsored program. So there's nothing really that students need to do in trying to task down and get one of these outside of the college. The Berry Career Institute is pretty much the umbrella that covers every base for you. Most of them are experiences that provide some kind of stipend and pay in addition to an experience, and oftentimes credit for students. So as you know, talking about using it for stats class and things like that, just a really cool opportunity that Cornell has within itself to be able to promote its students to these kind of out of the class, more professional style experiences.
Awesome. Talking about Cornell experiences and things like that, what are some things on campus that each of you are involved in? Jobs, activities, clubs, all that stuff, sports, fine arts.
Yeah, so I used to be on the women's basketball team. I'm not playing anymore just due to injury, but I was involved with that. I was also part of our student athletic advisory committee when I was on the basketball team. So that was a really fun way to get in touch with some other athletes. And we were also kind of liaisons with the NCAA. Other things, I mean, I'm a tour guide. I have been for the last few years. I also have another position for admissions as kind of a front desk work study student. I'm also a content tutor for the library, so I help tutor for kinesiology and psychology courses. And I also used to be the kinesiology work study student, so I just did various jobs for that. I'm also part of NSO, so New Student Orientation. I've done that for the last few years. I'm president of a Psychi, our Psychology Honor Society here on campus, so I've been involved in quite a bit. I find that it keeps me pretty busy and I really enjoy it.
So I'm involved, I'm a tour guide, and I also work at the information desk. I am in Greek life, I'm the president of my sorority. I've been involved in Alliance and Gender Safe Space Club as well. And then I'm also involved in New Student Orientation. So yeah.
Do you guys find that keeping yourselves busy with different activities and work and things like that helps you do better in your classes?
I think so. I think having all of those other responsibilities outside of class really has made me great at time management. So I am able to get everything that I need to done and then also have some free time. I think it's really helped with balancing different responsibilities and being able to manage a bunch of stuff.
I agree. And I think also from these things that I've done, I've learned a lot about leadership, time management, and countless other things that are really helpful, not only in class, but I think will be really helpful in the future going into jobs and stuff like that.
If you guys could offer one piece of advice to current, mostly seniors, but, juniors, they start to look at their colleges too, when looking at applications and picking a school and things like that, what would it be?
I think for me, keep your options open and be willing to try different things. Cornell was pretty different from my traditional high school experience, as well as I have grown up in pretty big cities my whole life and moved to a pretty small town in Iowa. But I think just being open to your different options and willing to try something new.
I would also say just trust your gut. I think logically other schools were better options for me, but when I got to Cornell and heard about it, it just felt right for me, and I haven't regretted going here since I made that decision. So just trust your gut and what feels right to you.
Awesome. I have just a little kind of segue, and I hate to interrupt, but for the attendees that are online right now, we do want to let you know that in 5 minutes we will be ending this this presentation. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and hit that Q&A at the bottom of your screen. But I would like to ask a question of the students that often comes up. What is there to do in Mount Vernon? What do you guys do, say, like on a Friday, I should say a typical Friday night or Saturday night? What are you guys up to?
Not a COVID Friday, Saturday night.
Yes, good point.
I mean, there's a lot to do actually in Mount Vernon. I like to kind of I go on runs around town and try and find different areas to go to and see. There's also Uptown Mount Vernon is really nice as well. They have a lot of different shops and restaurants that you can go to and check out all of those shops. The weekends, I also like to get out into Cedar Rapids or Iowa City if I want to do something a little bit new, go see a movie or something. Just kind of getting out in the area and seeing stuff that I don't normally see during the week because I'm busy.
Yeah, we also have an organization on campus called Performing Arts and Activities Council. So they will bring in bands to perform. They will do like karaoke nights, bingo nights, stuff like that. So they really try to have options open for students if they, don't have a car, can't get out, stuff like that. So there's lots to do, even though we are in a small town in Iowa.
Awesome. With just a few minutes left here, again, if you have questions, as John said, put them down below. But what's your guys' favorite spot on campus? Do you have one?
I think there's a tie. Either King Chapel, just because it's absolutely gorgeous. There's like big, beautiful stained glass windows. And then there's like a pond called Ink Pond that's absolutely beautiful, and there's like a picnic table right there. Me and my friends like to go and paint over there and just hang out. That's one of my favorite places.
I like the amphitheater outside King Chapel. That's just a nice little area that you can hang out, maybe eat a meal or something like that. I like that spot a lot.
Would that count as your guys' favorite study spots too? Do you have an indoor study spot that you like instead for the winters?
My favorite study spot is in West Science Center. They just felt like when they renovated it, there's like this spot on the 3rd floor where you get like a really pretty view of campus, and it's amazing in the winter when there's snow covering the whole campus. I like to study up there.
That was going to be mine. I like studying in the commons as well. Usually we're able to maybe rent out a little office room where a few of us can work together if we're all in the same class. They also have really nice whiteboards that you can use and stuff. So I like those spaces as well.
Awesome. Well, again, a special thanks to all of the folks joining us, all of our attendees. We're a little bit before 7:45, but I think we're going to wrap up. A special thanks to CTCL, too, the Colleges That Change Lives, for hosting this event and allowing us to be here. I think I'll turn it over to Owen if he has anything else to kind of finish up that way. But otherwise, if you do have any questions about Cornell, or there's any information that we can provide, all of our contact information, at least Kate's and mine, is online right at cornellcollege.edu. And again, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you come take a visit to campus. We are doing in-person visits at this time with some different procedures and protocols. But that's pretty much all we have. So thanks a lot, and have a great night.
Great. Thank you, John, and all of our presenters, and thank you to everyone who tuned in for joining us. When you close this presentation, there will be a link to a quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted tonight and throughout the next few days, so please be sure to sign up for additional ones. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other sessions recordings on the same webpage where you registered. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great night.